Friday, April 19th, 12:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 2019. Guys, we're here at the GO 16. We're looking at a radar loop of severe weather that extends for over 1,500 miles from northern Maine to south central Florida. Anything you can think of with regards to severe weather is wrapped up in this big package here. Talking large hail, high winds, tornadoes, flooding. We're going to take a look at all of the possibilities for today, and then by this evening or later on this evening after dinner, most of this severe weather will be moved out of the area, at least with regard to the East Coast. Maine through Pennsylvania, flooding, flash flooding. Here in the Carolinas, Virginia, Washington, even in parts of Georgia where they've been dealing with it all morning, there have been a series of tornado watches and warnings all morning and into the early afternoon hours, and they persist right now. Click on the red here at windy.com that shows us a tornado warning in North Carolina, tornado watch in North Carolina. That also extends over into South Carolina, Virginia, up into Washington, D.C., down into Florida. This is a huge line of severe weather that actually started a couple of days ago, or part of its DNA started a couple of days ago over in Texas. And we're going to take a look at the last couple of days, all of the power outages, high wind reports, hail reports, tornado reports, and they're currently accumulating right now as I do this video. If you go to the website, click on the real-time lightning map here at MrMBB333.com. You can see the real-time data associated with this collection of thunderstorms and unstable air. Click on the North America tab, and you can see right now lightning strikes for the last 120 minutes are 27,896. And that storm system extends way out into the Gulf of Mexico. That storm system there out in the Gulf will cross most of the state of Florida. Go back to the website, click on the power outages map, that tab right there, and it'll show you what we're dealing with right now. 11,000 in Texas without power, 13,000 in, where's that at, Virginia, without power, 81,000 without power in Florida, 51,000 in South Carolina without power, 46,000 Georgia without power, 19,000 in North Carolina without power, 19,000 in Mississippi, extends into Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana 2,800, Arkansas 2,200, Tennessee down to 600 now, Kentucky 2,200. And this will move all the way up the eastern seaboard as we move through today. So the high winds are in full force, taking down trees. We'll take a look at hail.com, hailreports.com. And this shows you, going back to 2 days ago when this all kind of started, a large collection of hail reports, high wind reports, and even tornado reports extending from Iowa all the way down through South Texas. All of this energy is slowly moving to the east and northeast, delivering the same type of goods, high winds, tornadoes, hail, throughout the deep southern states, all the way up to eastern seaboard. This is the 17th, what we're looking at right here. In fact, there was a report of 3-inch hail right there in parts of, I think it was northern Oklahoma or southern Kansas. 3-inch hail reported on the 17th. If we go up to the 18th, you can see the same type of scenario, just moved a little farther to the east. More condensed in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, up into Tennessee. High winds still persisted back in Oklahoma. There's an 85-mile-an-hour gust somewhere in southern Louisiana. If we go to just the tornado tab and uncheck the hail and the wind, you can see that yesterday on the 18th, if we count these, I've already counted them in advance, so I know already there's 11. 10 right here in the Mississippi area near Jackson, Mississippi, confirmed tornadoes yesterday on the 18th. Some of these tornadoes did a lot of damage. That's why there's still a lot of power outages in Mississippi from these tornadoes and all of the high wind reports that you saw. If we click on the tornado icon, you can see it gives you some brief descriptions, or gives you a brief detail of what occurred with this tornado. It doesn't tell you what strength it was or anything like that, but it does tell you homes were destroyed in the northern part of Morton, Mississippi. And I did find a report, this is a brick home, by the way, of a home that was completely destroyed in Morton, Mississippi, from that tornado I just showed you at hailreports.com. A brick home taken down by a tornado. So that was more than likely at least an EF3, quite possibly an EF4. Not exactly sure. I haven't seen the official reports yet, but that was from yesterday. If we go to today, the 19th, and we look at the reports for at least tornadoes right now, 3 being reported, 1 in Virginia, 1 in southern Georgia, and 1 in the Florida Panhandle. Go to wind reports, and you can see it looks just like the day before, but moving a little farther east and slowly moving up the eastern seaboard. There's too many to count, and it doesn't give you a tally of how many there are because it's a work in progress. They're constantly being updated. So you can see all of these light blues are high wind reports. And if you click on them, you can see they're doing damage. The emergency manager reported tree down at an intersection of Southeast 90th Street and Highway 475. Down here, very large oak limbs down. And a lot of these are falling on power lines. Power lines around the area. Multiple trees down in Chiefland. That's in Central Florida or West Central Florida. All of these are generally associated with some sort of damage to roofs, mobile homes, power lines, all of these blues that you see. And it's an ongoing event right now as I do this video. It continues. 80-mile-an-hour winds being reported, 90s, 60s, and it's moving its way up the eastern seaboard. And so will the power outages. They'll slowly move up the eastern seaboard. Right now we've got over, if I'm not mistaken, 226,000. That was before I started this video. There's more now, probably over 250,000 without electricity. And look for that number to climb as the afternoon moves on. Here's what it looked like back on April 13th. There was 175,000 without power, and it's due to these spring storms that we're seeing. And we see spring storms every year. It's just this year they seem to be quite exceptional. Back on April 15th, more than likely this afternoon, this power outage map could look very similar to what it did on April 15th at 7:30 a.m. Multiple state event with major power outages. Over 300,000 without power that day. So look for the numbers to go up probably near that same area today. Yesterday, 100,000 alone in Texas without power due to those severe thunderstorms that rolled through the area. And this was back on April 18th, and there were also power outages on the 17th. Here's those tornadoes I showed you near Jackson, Mississippi. 10 yesterday on April the 18th. 10 tornadoes. Today so far, I'm going to show you a little video I put together. All of these color-coded areas you see are some sort of severe weather warnings extending, or watches extending from Maine down into West Central Florida. Again, that's 1,555 miles. Unbelievable. That's consecutive. 1,555 miles of severe weather watches, warnings, and alerts. I don't think I've ever seen that many before at one time, but it's the entire eastern seaboard. This is a radar app that I recorded this off my phone, and this is not less than 30 minutes old. And you can see this storm system loaded with atmospheric instabilities, a lot of convection that creates the spin in the atmosphere and can create tornadoes. That's why there's so many tornadoes, watches, and warnings that cover 5, quite possibly 6 states right now, from the Carolinas to Virginia, West Virginia, especially South Carolina. I think there was a tornado warning right as I was doing this video. That's what that purple is a tornado warning. And you can see these storms are moving north, northeast, kind of slow. They're not moving super fast, probably in the 20-mile-an-hour range. That's average. Here lately, I've seen storms moving as fast as 65 mile an hour, and that's not the wind speed. That's the speed of the storm system moving at 65 miles per hour. All of these greens you see are some sort of a flood watch or warning in these areas. Again, extending from Maine all the way down to South Central, or actually West Central Florida. Just an incredible event that's not over yet. In fact, it's just getting started. So big heads up, guys, if you're in this area, expect possible power outages today as the winds persist. The lightning is getting stronger, or actually it's staying about the same. Actually, 28,000 when we first came on here was at 27,000, but look for high winds all afternoon into the early evening hours, quite possibly approaching midnight. I think a lot of these warnings are in effect, or watches are in effect, until midnight tonight, all up and down the eastern seaboard. And to finish up, Hurricane Michael has officially been upgraded to a Category 5 storm at landfall. And when we watched this storm in absolute astonishment last year, we kind of figured it was a Category 5, but the measurements were showing reaching 155 mile an hour sustained winds. But this storm did so much damage that they did reassess the data and have concluded that this was in fact a Category 5 hurricane when it made landfall. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day and be safe out there.